be joining us. And I'm going to have to leave early, but one of my colleagues is going to take over with me leaving. And so thank everyone for being here. We're going to open up with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, in liberty and justice for all. And if we can do a moment of silence for anyone that we have lost during this time. Thank you. So I know we were waiting on a few more people, but my pledge was to start on time and to end on time. And I have somebody sitting in this front row that will keep me to that pledge. Yes, when they asked me to take over the Military and Veterans Task Force, that was the pledge that they made me make. And I made it, and I take it very seriously. So I am going to do introductions, and if everyone can just begin by introducing themselves. And so if you can go to the mic with your introduction so that they can pick you up, if you can.
My name is Clara Williamson Evans. I'm a National Guard and active duty Army veteran, and I am the commander of the Disabled American Veterans Kingdom Ranking Chapter 1.
Hi there, my name is Monica Biddle. I'm a minister of the Church of Scientology. I'm also mother of 2 Marine Corps veterans.
Hi, my name is Ron Madden, retired in the United States Air Force, 33 years, here representing our nonprofit Demographic Inspirations Detroit.
If you young ladies would just go to the mic and introduce yourselves, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tasha Murphy. I am a clinical social worker working for the Veterans Community Resource and Referral Center with the VA Hospital.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexis Harrison DeRicio, also an employee with the VCRC Veterans Resource Center, also an Army veteran.
Thank you. You want to introduce yourself, please?
My name is Samantha Winston, and I work for MVF as a case manager.
Continue to work to get it together. I am going to ask if we can just start off with committee. Guess what, y'all? I think the mic is on. Would you agree? So if we can just start off with committee reports for those committees that we have reports on. If you go to the mic, please. I think it's working.
Paul Palazzolo, President of Chapter 9, the Vietnam Vets. This year the parade is going down Michigan Avenue. We're working very hard with the Michigan Avenue Business Association. I think it's a win-win proposition for Chapter 9 and the parade committee. We've met with the business owners and are going to try to help us this year. I want to keep that parade in Detroit. There's other people who want to move it to Royal Oak and Southfield, but as long as I'm on that committee, it'll be in Detroit.
So can you talk about what time it's going to start and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, we've got all the brochures up at the table. The parade starts at 12 o'clock going down Michigan Avenue. We're meeting at Abbott and Trumbull. There's a electrical contractors union. Yes, and this year we're honoring Dave and Keith. And I apologize. Miss Wesley had pointed out that I made a mistake, that it's not on the brochure, that we're honoring Dave and Keith, but a lot of people don't realize how great of an institution Dave and Keith was to law in this country. He literally wrote a lot of briefs that are now in the Supreme Court and are in law for racial discrimination and housing, and you name it, he did it. The second thing I want to talk about, and by the way, those flyers are at the table, so is the Fisher House. We're at the 1,300,000 point. I talked this morning. The first Fisher House is already under construction in Ann Arbor, and because they moved forward before us is because they had the land. We hope to get this Fisher House and break ground next year at John R. and Palmer. There have only two have been committed to the state of Michigan. One was Ann Arbor and one is Detroit. Detroit has enough property to build two Fisher Houses. And as people don't realize, a Fisher House is like a hotel. You go in there and you stay in there, just like a Ronald McDonald, if your loved ones are in the VA hospital, and you can stay there for free. It's a beautiful building. We hope to get two of them built, but first of all, we got to get that first one built. So again, there's brochures up there. If you pick up a brochure and envelope, if it's just $5, if it's just $5, $10, whatever you can afford. I put up a lot of my own money on that to get that done. So any one of them could support it. It's a $5, a $10, whatever you can do on that. The third thing, and I'll get back to the parade, the third thing that I want to talk about is a monument at the state fairgrounds. Now, Senator Colwell had $250,000 set aside to have that moved to the riverfront, to Milliken State Park. They're using that $250,000 to dismantle it and put it probably at Fort Wayne in mothballs until we raise $400,000. Well, last week we raised close to $10,000. We're getting a GoFundMe page, and I want to see that thing put on the riverfront. We have a lot of people that are dedicated to getting that thing. I've been working on that for 12 years. To take that thing down and just put it in mothballs is ridiculous. It's a World War I monument. It's at the State Fairgrounds, right on Woodward Avenue and State Fair. And the bad part about all that, they didn't even need to take it down. There's a fence all around it. The State Fairgrounds could work on the other part. There's 168 acres of land that they could be working on instead of working on Woodward and State Fair. Getting back to the parade, we'll be saluting the Marines' 244th birthday. We'll be honoring Damon Keith. We're also being Al Oprah, who was a Marine too, who's in a wheelchair. All these things will come down Sunday, November 10th. I hope to see you all there because I want to keep that parade in Detroit. So all the information is on the table, and I want to thank Ms. Wesley, who stays on top of me and keeps me straight, along with my secretary there, the woman that doesn't get paid and keeps me straight. Okay, Grudenheit. Thank you.
Thank you. I can remember when we first started off with the Veterans Parade, and we started off with very few but very powerful. And each year, 50 people, each year it began to grow and get bigger. However, the one thing it has not done that I am still awaiting for it to do is have the sideline viewers like the Thanksgiving parade had. And the only way we're gonna get there is if you tell your friends and family to come out, stand on the side. I mean, I cannot think of anybody that could be more important than our veterans. And as we cheer them on and cheer on the Veterans Day parade, I think it's just so important. So we used to not have any media that came out. Now we get a little media that comes out. But we need the side viewers to come, if they're not participating, to just come and watch it. I mean, if we, and I know everybody has had somebody in their family who have served in the military, even if it was a great-great-great-grand somebody. And if you haven't, we still need to be saying thank you to our veterans, because if it was not for our veterans, where would we be today? Where would we be today? And so we need to just be saying thank you and standing there to cheer on the Veterans Day Parade.
Just real quick, I was there last year, and
I'm gonna ask everybody, I hate to do this, but because we have viewers at home, if you can just go to the mic so that everybody, no matter where they are, can hear what is being said, because everything that someone has to add in this meeting is very important. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. I was at the parade last year, and there were people lining the streets, but it rained us out. It started raining like crazy, but there were a lot of people out there last year, and I don't know if we can get the media to kind of build this up for us to get more participation, but there were a lot of spectators out there last year.
Okay, thank you. What happens, you guys, if it rains and the Thanksgiving parade is going on? They stand out there with their umbrellas. I just hate to say that. And so we have to be just as committed as everybody else is for their own parade. If it means standing with an umbrella, stand with an umbrella. I think I was out of town, and I've been out of town when the parade has taken place, but I am there in spirit. I have my staff there. If I'm in town, I'm there. So I think that we need to just tell everybody, I don't care what the weather is, our veterans went out and fought for us no matter what, whether or not it was snowing, hailing, sheeting, or sleeting, or anything else. Our veterans was out there fighting for us, and so we need to stand strong and stand tall for our veterans, to just let them know that we appreciate what they did. Many of them are still living. We made this a Purple Heart City, and we need to just let our veterans and their families know that we appreciate what they did for us. So thank you, and thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Any other committee reports, special announcements?
Council President Jones, this is Commander Simmerad here, and this is a perfect tie-in to what Paul had to say. I know that represented the Navy League and the Sea Services, several organizations that I have been connected with intend to support the Veterans Day parade this year, which have typically not participated. So I'm confident that this will be bigger than last year, and we have started that rolling stone down the pickup momentum. So with that, along with that, the Broadhead Board of Directors met on Monday and decided, with the approval of the appropriate authorities within the city of Detroit, to have a Veterans Day ceremony at Broadhead, similar to the Memorial Day ceremony. So that would be actually on the Saturday at 10 o'clock. So that's still in the works, waiting for their proper approvals, et cetera. I did notice that you had in the packet here the Navy Ball, which is this Friday at the Detroit Yacht Club. It looks like it's quite expensive, quite honestly, but it looks like we will be at capacity, which is 200 people. And on Thursday, 6 crew members from the USS Detroit will be flying in from Mayport and staying at, I shouldn't name the hotel because it might become maybe too attractive for people. But they'll be staying downtown, and I just met with the principal at Cass Tech, and the intention is for them to meet several of the venues here in the city of Detroit and experience the wonderful city that we have. And I believe Chief Craig is also on that list. So we'll pick them up on Thursday, take them around. We're also going to support and this is an amazing, and I want to thank you very much, but on Easter Market on Thursday, I think it's Shed 2, 3, 40 universities will have access to as much as $11 million in scholarships for high school students. We'll be there, and we intend to bring the crew from the USS Detroit out there to see that wonderful activity on Thursday. And then Friday, we'll show them around some venues in Detroit. I know Paul would poke me on this one, but the Broadhead Association planning team has continued to meet. There's still some reservations within the planning department with the city of Detroit that we're trying to follow their appropriate protocol on pursuing that. But it now has blossomed into 3 organizations. One, the Broadhead Association, which is a nonprofit. We resurrected the Broadhead Armory Preservation Society, which is a preservation organization, which is also another nonprofit, and the what we call the RTB, Richard Thornton Broadhead Development LLC, which would provide the oversight for any development work. So there's much more I could add to all of this. If people have questions, I would ask them to contact me at 248-466-7525, and I can show them how they might choose to be involved. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much. Let me just add a couple of things. The Navy Ball, I will miss this year. I have someone getting married at my house, and so I think I better be at my house, and it's not me. So I do have a young lady, a couple that have asked to get married at my house, so I'll be at my home while the Navy Ball is going on, and I will miss the Navy Ball. However, he indicated that the Infinite Scholars Fair will be at Shed 3 on Thursday. I am a board member of the Infinite Scholars, and the Infinite Scholars also includes the Army ROTC, and the Navy will also be present this year. And they give out scholarships. The Infinite Scholars give out scholarships. Last year, $11.5 million were given to Metro Detroit area graduating seniors at Shed 3. And our goal is to try to make sure that there are plenty of opportunities that exist for any and every one of our graduating seniors and young people that are interested. And, you know, as I've been going around the city of Detroit, going to different high schools, there are several graduating seniors who are interested in the military. And you know, we often say they're our future, but I say they're our now, because if we don't invest in them now and tell them and talk to them about what they have coming at them, then we won't have a future, because they're what's going to carry us through tomorrow. And so we have to talk to them, we have to invest in them, and we have to stay positive with them. Sometimes it might seem like it's a little hard, because sometimes we say our younger people are a little different than we were, but I'm sure the generation that was looking at us said we were a little different than they were. And so we have to talk to them, help them understand why things are important, not be negative with them. If they're doing something and we don't understand why they're doing it, a lot of times we approach it the wrong way. If you approach it in a positive manner, you end up changing their mind a lot of times. But when you approach something in a negative manner to them, guess what? They continue on. So it depends on how you approach things. And I think if we take that positive step in approaching our youth, we will get positive results. Ms. Cole.
Good afternoon. My name is Pat Cole, and because Ms. Jones had this, I don't know how old this program is, she had it for years in the City County building, I started thinking about what happens, or if there were any, at one time, women veterans. And so this has been part of my research since 2013 to find out where they were and what they needed. And it's taken a while, but I've finally gotten there. We're having our first fundraiser on Saturday, November the 9th at 707 East Lafayette at the Greek Church, right at the corner of the Service Drive, I-75 Service Drive, and Lafayette. And what I've done while I was waiting to find out what they needed was, I have a medicinal therapist. She's been giving massages, and she's been giving them for 6 weeks to 9, over a period of time, to 9 women veterans, and it has made a difference in their lives in terms of their health. I think sometimes people think a massage is just for fun. I get one every week because I know how good it is for my mind and my body. So I encourage you, if you don't know a good therapist, she's right downtown in the Millender Center. I can give you her number. But anyway, we've been sending women veterans, and then I bought a 2-family because I didn't know that there were many women veterans that didn't have housing. You know, it's amazing what you don't know, and you think you've got a handle on everything, and I didn't. I didn't know that there were 13,000 women veterans in Wayne County, and that was 5 years ago when the last time I checked it. So, and I'm sure there are even more now. So I encourage you, we're only selling 100 tickets. This is our first fundraiser. And so if you would like to come and be a part of this program and help me continue to raise money for the programs, we bought a 2-family. We'll be through with it by the end of this month. And we're going to put a lady veteran and her children on the first floor so that their kids are not running on top of somebody that's upstairs. So just work with me and know that what we're doing is needed. I found that out, and how needed, even more than I thought, and hope to see many of you there on November the 9th. We're having a brunch, so you won't be there all day. We're going to start at 9 o'clock, and we'll be out no later than 11:15. I hate spending my Saturday doing anything except what I want to. So remember that, so you won't be there all day. Thank you very much, Brenda. And thank you for this program, because I never would have known how much was needed and if I hadn't been exposed to this.
Thank you.
Council President, I'll be brief. First, I want to thank you for continuing to get us together, because it's very difficult sometimes to get us veterans together, okay? Again, I'm Miguel Thornton. I'm the president of the Detroit chapter of Tuskegee Airmen. We're in our infancy planning stages to bring the 50th anniversary of Tuskegee Airmen Incorporated to Detroit in 2022. I'll be getting with your staff and some others, and we'll be working on that because we want to be here because that's where it started. Good news and bad news. This time last year, I told you we had 13 combat pilots still alive. We're down to 11, the youngest one being 95 and the oldest one being 100 years old. We're fortunate enough here in Detroit to have 2 of those combat pilots alive. That's Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Jefferson, and if you haven't met him, Google his name, and Lieutenant Colonel Harry Stewart. Harry Stewart's book just came out in June and is very, very informative. In fact, if you can talk to any of them, do so. They're both listed, okay? Third thing, as Council President knows, we've been working for the last 7 years trying to keep City Airport open. During that course, we lost our Benjamin O. Davis Aerospace School, and it went back to go lightly. When that happened, we lost our FAA licenses, so therefore we couldn't do airframe. For those that don't know what airframe is, primarily mechanics, okay? Right now, with the help of Council, about 3 weeks ago, we had our first class back at City Airport. We have an anonymous donor. Palazzolo gonna like this. We have an anonymous donor that is donating $5 million to bring our engine and airframes back to that facility. And we've already talked with Colonel Milburn. He meets with Council more than I do to get all of that set up and bring that back. Why is that important? I'm glad you asked. Because here in the city of Detroit, we need more options for our kids. Here in the city of Detroit, the kids need to see people like them in those positions. Here in the city of Detroit, we don't understand sometimes that we are the ones that need to help these kids. We have a new page that we're giving Council. We called ourselves, our newest part of the organization, DATEC. And I'm sorry, you all, I just got off the plane at 1:39. I left my glasses and my phone. I can't even read all my stuff. But anyway, you'll be hearing more about that through Council. DATEC is a combination of all the people that's in that corridor around City Airport. Connor, Gratiot, all the way down to Harper, and all the way up to 6 Mile. We have a coalition of folks that are interested in getting everything back there. Even one thing can bring 200 or 300 jobs back. We, the Tuskegee Airmen, are talking with 2 airlines that we can bring commercial flights back to the city. But it depends on what they do with the runways. And I know if you follow your papers, you've probably seen they want to close one. The one they want to close is the one we use. Did you hear me? The one they want to close is the one that we use with our small aircraft. And then basically that's all I wanted to share with you. If you get the opportunity, Google either one of the 2 people's names that I mentioned. You Google mine and you'll start, when you see mine, start talking about the Brewster projects. Okay? Mine is little compared to theirs. But Google the old guys, and if you can, or whenever you can, talk to them. Last note. Did you know that a Tuskegee Airman was lynched in Austria on April 1st, 1944? That's why we need to talk to him. We found out by accident. There were 7 pilots left on that run. 2 were shot down. 1 was killed. The other was captured. The Germans took the captured pilot to the closest prison, which was an Austrian prison, and said that they would come back and get him and take him to a German prison. Well, they did come back. And to set a specific message to the people around there, they hung him 100 yards outside the prison. Just found that out this year. But that's the kind of thing, when you talk to the guys, they didn't talk a lot when they came home, and we're finding out more and more things all the time. The museum will be open, hopefully, in the Charles Wright within the next 30 days. Politics have gotten in the way, but we're working on that. Politics.
Paul?
Council President, is this money to be used for scholarships, or is it money to be used to revitalize the building?
Revitalize the building right now. I didn't say that, but we're working on another scholarship based on what you shared with me last meeting. We're working on another scholarship program. We have 7 students that are going to be soloing within the next 60 days. And unfortunately, the weather gets bad here in the next 60 days, so it'll probably be doing it in spring. And that's where we spend our money. That's where we get donations from other people. When we get through the ground school and everything, instruments and different kinds of programs in the school, it's us giving up our time. But when we get into the flight training, we can't train all the kids, okay? And so it's farmed out to some other pilots or some other organization. And Paul is committed to help us out on that. But anything you can do, as always, is helpful. The kids are wonderful. Our next big affair is coming up probably in May, and I'll let you know. We're going to honor the students that are coming from Go Lightly, the students that are in our Civil Air Patrol, and the students that are in our ROTC. We'll be honoring them in late April or May. We haven't set the date yet, but I'll share that with you. And what I mean by honoring them, this past 2 months ago, we honored 2 students from the Civil Air Patrol that won honors in their first competition, because we've only had it back at the airport for a year. And we honored those 2 students, one Hispanic and one African American. So everybody liked that.
Okay, thank you for that very brief report. So next we've been joined by my colleague, Councilmember Roy McAllister Jr., and I'm going to turn the meeting over to him. But I just want to say before I leave, there is a parade route, 2019 Veterans Parade route, turn by turn, that we have, and it starts on the north side of Abbott at Dean Savage Memorial Park, heading west, turn north on Trumbull, turn west on Michigan Avenue, turn south on 16th Street, turn northeast on Verner Street, turn north on South Verner Street, turn east on Michigan Avenue, turn south on Trumbull, and turn east on Abbott to the finish line. And it is in the package that you have. I just wanted to give that information for those who were watching, that will be watching at home. And I see a hand.
Yes. What time is staging and what time does the parade start?
We're going to start at 12, but the staging, yeah, we're starting at 11 o'clock.
Staging starts at 9, and the parade will begin at 11 a.m.
Thank you.
Okay. Also, the other thing I wanted to just announce is the 2019 National Veterans NVBDC Veterans Business Matchmaking and Vets Night Out in Columbus, Ohio, November the 5th and 6th. Join over 50 corporations and 500 plus veteran business owners. And that is again November the 5th and the 6th. The event will include Vets Night Out held at the stunning new National Veterans Museum, a memorial where corporations and veteran business owners will be able to tour and enjoy the museum while they network on a more informal basis, and feature special guest Major General Deborah Adzenhurst, U.S. Army retired director of the Ohio Department of Veterans. And so there are quite a few sponsors. And again, I received that from Keith King from the NVBDC. Also, National Veterans Business Matchmaker and Vets Night Out. We have a speaker that wants to give us an update, Sid E Taylor, Board of Directors for the certification of disabled and veteran-owned businesses. And if you will come before us and give us an update. And just make sure everyone also mark your calendars for November the 12th, which will be our last meeting for 2019 and will be held right here at the Detroit Michigan Veterans Foundation, 4626 Grand River Avenue. Again, before I leave, I want to thank my co-chair. It's always good to have a right hand, a left hand, to work directly with you, and I don't know what I would do without them, so I don't know how I did this long without having co-chairs. So I want to just thank Councilmember McAllister, Councilmember Benson called and said he will not be here because he has so much on his plate. He said, do you just really need me? And so Member Benson is also always there as well when we need him to step in. So I want to truly publicly thank both of my co-chairs. Again, thank all of you all since I am leaving for being here. Thank our camera crew most definitely because they have had a long day along with us. And just thank Linda Wesley because she does do a lot. And my interns that are here working with us, also often we don't thank people until it's too late. And I truly thank everyone that works along with me. We work together. It's not a boss, you the boss thing. It's we are working together as a team. That's the only way we will accomplish something, if we work together. So I thank everybody for the help that they give me. I don't want to stand over somebody when they can't hear me saying thank you. I want them to hear me now saying thank you and how much I appreciate all of you all, because there is no way I could do this without everyone in this room who sends me emails, who comes to these meetings, who helps in every way that can humanly be done. Thank you all. I love you all, and I appreciate every last one of you all from the bottom of my heart. I thank you all. Thank you so much. You guys just don't know how I see also often things that are going on and not enough networking to let people know that there is help for you. No one is telling them that, and that's why we try to get this information out to the general public, and that's why I say come to the mic so that if someone is watching it at home and they're not here, they can hear what we are saying and get it on to another veteran who may not be able to be here to get all of the information. So again, thank you all so very much. I truly appreciate you.
Okay, my name is Sid E. Taylor. I'm a United States Marine, combat veteran, 68, 69, served in Vietnam. And I'm also the 2009 recipient of the highest award awarded by the Tuskegee Airmen. But what I'm here today to talk about is the NVBDC. And what we do is we certify veteran businesses so that they can do business, with large corporations and take advantage of a lot of the amenities that's available for them through the business channels. And we are the certification board for veteran-owned disabled businesses. And all of you, if you're not in business, if you know somebody in business that's a veteran, please have them contact us if they're interested in getting their business certified. Because becoming certified enables and allows you to make your business available to a lot of veteran-friendly businesses. And that's the reason the NVBDC is so important. I was one of the founding members. I retired from my company in 2015, and I was a board member then, and one of the founding members, and I was just unanimously elected back to the board here lately. They brought me back to help, take this organization to the next level. And we look forward to partnering, if you will, with your organization to find out how we can work together and make sure that we're here to support veterans. So that's, I want to take a lot of time because I know time's of the essence.
But Mr. Taylor, that time that you've taken is very important because, we need our veterans to make sure that they have the proper, information so that they can move forward. So no, don't ever feel that and that's what this is here, as President Jones stated, that's what this is about, to put out that information so people will know. So thank you so very much.
Thank you for your leadership as well.
Yes,
NVBDC.org, that's our website, NVBDC.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Taylor, is there a telephone number?
Oh, sure. In fact, I've got enough cards here.
Okay.
Our phone number is 888-237-8434.
You could repeat that one more time for those who just not pulling out their ink pens.
888-237-8434.
All right. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, if there's no questions, Mr. Taylor, thank you so much again. Okay, is there anyone else that is up to provide a presentation or information? Yes, ma'am. Ms. Mallon?
Hello, my name is Melody McGee, and I am with a company by the name of MCA Detroit, and that stands for Mechanical Contractors Association. And I handle all the skilled trades for plumbers and pipe fitters. And we try to attend as many veteran events as possible because we also accept veterans into our plumbers and pipe fitters apprenticeship program. And so we are currently looking for pre-apprentices that we can urgently accept pre-apprentices into our program. The minimum age you have to be is 18 years of age. There's no maximum of age. you're required to have a high school diploma or GED. You're required to have your own reliable transportation and pass the work keys exam. So if you or you know someone that is interested in being a part of a pre-apprentice program, you get your full health care benefits. We are paying $15 an hour to start until we can move you over into the apprenticeship program. And we're looking to place these people within the next week or two. Okay? Thank you very much.
Questions? Yeah, Paul?
Yes, are you working with Randolph Academy?
Yes, we are working with Randolph. Matter of fact, I interview a few people from Randolph. So I will take your resume. If you went to a pre-apprentice program or something set up for apprentices, I also take those resumes and I will do a face-to-face interview with you.
Well, where are you giving Randolph Academy $40,000 to secure that?
Okay. Oh, wonderful.
You got to get these kids educated.
That is correct.
Not everybody go to college, but there's plenty of jobs in the schools.
That is correct. Yes. Okay. Thank you very much. I definitely would like to talk to you after.
Another question? Is it a question? Okay. Ms. McGee, thank you so very much. And Paul, thank you for what you're doing because you're very instrumental in providing funding and assistance. So thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Clara Evans, the commander of the Disabled American Veterans Keenan Rankin Chapter 1. My concern is for the last year, I've been trying to find a contractor to assist our chapter in receiving a wheelchair lift. We have the funds that's going to be donated to us for the wheelchair lift with the help of the city council, especially Councilman McAllister. But the wheelchair companies keep running into, they can't find a contractor to get with their company so we can get our wheelchair lift, so we can get the handicapped veterans into our building so they'll have somewhere to go, socializing, and you know, things to do. I've been on this over a year trying to get it. I'm on my 4th wheelchair company, but we don't have the contractors to do the work. And Mr. McAllister, Councilman McAllister has been a tremendous help to us, but everything keeps falling. So today I said, I'm gonna get up and ask, is there any companies that can help us, help me, help my chapter and the rest of the veterans so they can be able to get in our building? Yes, the chapter phone number is 313-272-1810, and my cell phone number, because we're not there all the time, is 313-682-8025.
Commander, my apologies. I didn't know that you was having that experience, and that's on me. And what I'll do is I'm gonna get with our procurement and contract director and see if he has someone that's specifically, you need a contractor to
do the work for the company to put the wheelchair lift in. They keep giving me different quotes, but then on the second part, they say I need somebody else to do some electrical and some contractor work, to do the work to put the wheelchair lift in.
Okay.
So it's like, I thought if I contact the elevator companies or the wheelchair lift companies, they could assist, but they only want to do that part, and they act like they don't know nobody to help complete the project.
Okay.
Yes.
And I apologize. I will get with unless somebody else knows, and if you do, the more information we have, the better, the more people we get involved. But I'll check with him. I'm pretty sure they know somebody that can assist with that.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
It's mainly a coordination of skilled trades.
Okay.
You got a bid, I'm sure. It's mainly a coordination of trades, and when she goes to the person that does the lift, then they need the electrical and they need the other structural people on board before they'll sign the contract.
Okay.
Okay, so that's an easy fix, so she's already got the money.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Commander. We'll make sure that we coordinate and make sure that that's handled.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Anyone else with some information or announcements? Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
My name is Tasha Murphy. I am a clinical social worker working with the VA hospital, the Veterans Community Resource and Referral Center, which is located at 301 Paquette Street in Detroit. And what we offer there is an outpatient clinic. It's open 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. And what we offer to our veterans in Detroit, Macomb, Oakland, Wayne County is a place of respite, so to speak. If they are homeless, they can walk in off the street and say, hey, I'm homeless. We will then do an assessment to determine their eligibility to be placed in one of 3, or one of 6, that is, shelters that are specifically geared toward veterans. We happen to be in one of the buildings here, which is Michigan Veterans Foundation. We also place veterans in Volunteers of America, Detroit Rescue Missions Ministry, Safe Step, Beginning Step, and Love and Kindness. Also, veterans who are experiencing issues with housing such as utility, mortgage payment, car payments, things of that nature. I've come to learn that a lot of veterans are not familiar with the plethora of resources that are out here to aid them and their families. In addition, I wanted to add, I believe the young lady's name is Ms. Coleman, and Cole, thank you for that correction. She talked about women's issues. That is very, very prevalent. Sitting on the other side of a desk to have to tell a female veteran and her 2 children, we cannot help you, is very, very disturbing. So I'm hoping that with missions like Mrs. Cole's, and I'm going to have one of my coworkers come up to tell about her mission in thrusting women's issues to the forefront. I often have been asked, are you a veteran, Ms. Murphy? And I have to say, no. I have not been afforded the privilege of being able to serve my country, but I've been afforded the blessing of being able to serve veterans, which I do respectfully. So if Mrs. Alexis DeRicio can come up, she is a United States veteran, and she can speak more duly unto the women's issues.
Paul?
Ms. Murphy, is there, to my knowledge, there's no women's place for them to go. Am I correct, for them, for their children?
That is correct. Unless we do what we call a warm handoff or diversion, when we can divert them to some of the other community shelters, but they're not veteran specific.
Like Salvation Army?
Like the Salvation Army, that is one of the ones that I typically do the warm handoff to some of our women veterans.
You've got to find a way to get all this land around here to get a women's shelter built.
Absolutely, and that's what Mrs. DeRicio is going to speak to.
Paul, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that question? Because a lot of times, if we're not talking to the mics, we're not picking up that information. So, Ms. Murphy, could you repeat Mr. Paul's question, please?
Sure.
And then
Mr.
answer.
Paul's question was, is there a place that we have for women veterans and their children? Correct? And there isn't.
Okay. All right. Ms. Murphy, thank you so much. Is there a telephone number and or some type of contact information that you can share with us, that we can put that information out? Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. I'll give the address once again, which is 301 Piquette, Piquette, Detroit, Michigan, 48202. And the number that you can contact us is 313-576-1580. And you contact that number and ask to speak to any available social worker. And keep in mind, it is an outpatient clinic. You don't need an appointment. So if you are aware of any veterans experiencing any issues regarding housing, homelessness, utilities, just send them our way.
Ms. Murphy, thank you so much. And a lot of times what people don't understand is that service, many times maybe even if you was not a server as a military component, the service that you're doing for our veterans is of service and is just as important. So I thank you so much for that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And my name is Alexis Harrison DeRicio, and I also work at the Veterans Community Resource and Referral Center. I'm a U.S. Army veteran. I just recently relocated back to Michigan. I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico for over 15 years. Appreciate it. And so like I was saying, I just recently relocated here back to Michigan from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And it seems everywhere that I'm going, traveling as an employee of the VA, and also when I was in the military, that housing is one of the main issues that we have for our female veterans. So I started an organization in New Mexico to where, again, I was working in the integration center, and we constantly kept turning females away. And eventually the city helped us build a home there for our female veterans, who was just housing 30 females at the time. So now that I'm back here in New Michigan, in Detroit, I'm running into the same problem again. And working at the resource center, again, as Tasha was saying, it's really painful to keep turning our female veterans away. So I have Washington, D.C. From the Women's Veterans Center coming next week to interview our female veterans here in Detroit to discuss our major issues, but again, it's mainly housing. And so that's what I'm trying to do now, is trying to raise money and start my own nonprofit in order to get us housing here in Detroit.
Okay. Ms. Hammond, Mr. Riccio, thank you so much. Mr. Paul?
You know, we've been talking about this issue for 5-6 years now, and we gotta get the federal government involved. We gotta have a sit down with Dingle, Stabenow, and sit down and get a grant writer, find the land, and get it going. You gotta be full about this so we get these women off the street, because a lot of them go into drugs and they feel hopeless. So let's start this. Let's all get mad about this, because good God, more women are coming out of the military now than ever before, because they were put into a combat zone. My daughter was on the USS Saipan Iwo Jima, so I know. So let's get this thing going. Let's put this focus where it belongs, in Washington. You want us to serve, then when we come back, find a place for us to stay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hope your day's going as well as mine has been.
We're here.
I'm James Warnick. I'm a member of the American Red Cross Service for the Armed Forces. Briefly, I'll say the Service to the Armed Forces program dates back to the establishment of the American Red Cross by Clara Barton in May 1881. Long time ago. Now, not only did the Angel of Battlefield risk her life tending to soldiers wounded in the Civil War, she bolstered their morale by writing letters for them to send to their families. Today's American Red Cross workers proudly carry on this tradition through the SAF program, which serves as a critical line of communication between the U.S. Armed Forces and their families. We're also aggressive in promoting blood donation. So if you haven't donated blood lately, we sure could use some, okay? And we also are aggressively promoting free smoke alarms for those who don't have smoke alarms in their home. We'll come to you and put up to 3 smoke alarms that last for 10 years in your homes, in your rental properties, okay? We'd like to talk a little bit more about the service to the armed forces, but for the sake of continuity and time, I'll be here after the meeting and we can sit down and have a little face-to-face.
Okay,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And Ms. Madden, you're going to be the last one, because we always say we're going to keep you an hour and we're going to let you go.
Okay, I'm going to make this short and sweet. My name's Ron Madden. I'm here representing our nonprofit called Demographic Inspiration Detroit. And one of our missions is veteran housing. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with a person out in Oregon today, and he's going to email me some information, as well as hopefully I'll get a chance to see him. He says he's going to be in Detroit next week. And one of the things, like I said, veteran housing, I'm glad you brought this up, because I want to have that long, extensive conversation about veteran housing. One of the programs is called Community Land Trust, and that's a component of affordable housing. So that will be our conversation, and that will be our goal, is to make sure that we can at least go in that direction of making this housing work for veterans, women's, as well as veterans across. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Madden, thank you so very much. Well, again, I have to thank each and every one of you for coming out, taking the time out, not only with the information, but being here. We appreciate you being involved with the Veterans Task Force. And so we will look forward to seeing you on November the 12th. Yes, November the 12th at 3 o'clock. Thank you so much, and God bless you, and please have a safe trip and journey. All right.